Salve ragazzi a tutti, ben arrivati su un'altra nuova puntata dopo ieri, dopo 2 ore e 10 minuti, dopo 2 ore e 15 minuti con Paul Masvidal che salutiamo, un abbraccio grandissimo, veramente un grandissimo abbraccio appunto a Paul. Oggi abbiamo invece un'altra bellissima, grandissima puntata appunto con Mr. appunto Tobias Christensen dei appunto Grave, gruppo svedese, veramente molto molto interessante, una delle migliori band appunto from Swedish. Lascio la parola a Margrave Anarca. Prima salutiamo appunto
Salutiamo Tony, Stefano e Denti in Alto che ci segue su Twitch. Okay.
Aspetta, il grandissimo Dentino.
Ok, eccolo.
Dentino.
Eccolo, messo in schermo. Ragazzi, come sempre siamo in diretta su Twitch, su YouTube e su Facebook e abbiamo faccio un po' di a fine puntata farò un po' di shaming, self promotion, diciamo, perché abbiamo una nostra novità, ma anche un'iniziativa che poi faremo, ma senza indugiare oltre. Chiamiamo in linea Tobias dei Grave, come sempre bilinguale interview, quindi mi raccomando fate le vostre domande e vi saranno date le risposte da Tobias. Hello Tobias, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here to Il Calice Nero, for us a new genre, because we are both fans of the band and we can't wait to basically harass you with a lot of questions in this podcast tonight. Hope that you are fine and you're safe at home, and people really look forward about this interview. People write to us on Facebook, so without further ado, with this excitement, I think that the Maestro can start with the first question, really straightforward, because we have a lot of things to say tonight. So Maestro, as always, question in Italian and translation, and we are good to go. Vai Maestro.
Yeah. Portiamo i Grave subito direttamente all'interno di un imbuto. Questo imbuto deve versare un alcol particolare. Questo alcol come riuscirebbe a creare una musica particolare da parte dei Grave che ancora un full ancora non uscito?
Okay, so the Maestro asks you a particular question because you want to make you a metaphor, an analogy between an alcoholic drink and grave music. And he asks about how a grave can create his own alcoholic drink, like making a new beverage as a new album. So for the future, can have some kind of harshness and something really that can go deep in the chest, as a super alcohol can do. And what kind of drink can suit the next grave sound? That's basically, I don't know, you are developing, you are composing.
Well, that's a funny question. I never thought about that. I remember one time we were in Colombia and they served us this thing called michelada. I think it's like beer with a tequila poured in it. And I remember that one hit you pretty hard in the head. And I think if you're gonna make a drink for our band, it shouldn't be something that is too sweet because it doesn't really fit the style of music. It should be more like I don't know, maybe a little bit more like aggressive in the taste, so to speak. Not too, nothing too fancy. I would a high percentage of alcohol would be suitable, I guess. So I when we're on tour, it's always you want to do this classic thing and drink Jack Daniels because that what you've seen, like your the 80s rockers always were drinking Jack Daniels. So you want to emulate that a little bit. So I think something with Jack Daniels or something like that, something similar. I don't know, something strong, something with the whiskey. I personally myself, I have to take it easy with drinking like hard liquor because I get, fucked up
Yeah,
very quick.
yeah.
I prefer if the night is long and not, just bang out after a couple of, drinking too much
Yeah.
vodka or shit like that.
Of course, when you are on tour, you have duties, so you cannot party every night,
No, exactly. You have to like pick your days when you can do that. But a grave drink, that's a good idea, man.
Maybe for the future merch stand, you have your own grave drink,
Yeah,
So,
we one time we played. I don't remember where this was. A couple of years ago, and we got some person had made us beer, with a grave beer. It's nothing that we sold or anything official. He was more like a fan, and he did a beer just for us, and I think he sold a little bit, but. So that's always cool, and a lot of bands these days are doing like their own branding. These days you can find everything. I just bought Mika, our guitar player. He had his birthday a couple of months ago, and I bought him a gin with a Kiss gin called cold gin, like a birthday gift for him. So
I know that Kiss also makes coffins with the Kiss logo, so it's like Kiss. It's a perfect example about strange merchandising. So
yeah, they've been doing that for
and
many years too.
yeah, of course. And just for the purpose of translation, since the name is kinda, what is the drink they got in Colombia? Like tequila and beer, right? You
I
said
think it's
before.
called michelada.
Okay, michelada. Okay. And just to link the question of the perfect grave drink to a question of Maniac Death Metal from YouTube, he asks about, is it possible in the future to have something new about grave, new album and stuff like that? Can you spoil us a little bit something?
Yeah, yeah. Just to connect about the drink, we were actually talking about that many years ago. I just remember it now, and we wanted to do a drink and call it Into the Grave, and it was supposed to be so strong that it, just send you right into the grave when you drink it.
Great.
All right. Anyway, about future release from Grave, like right now, we don't really know. Actually, things been on hold here because of the pandemic, and we have everybody in the band have like ideas and stuff, riffs and ideas for songs. But we just haven't got together yet to piece it all together. So unfortunately, I can't really say when we will be releasing something new, but we have been talking about it, and hopefully we can start working on it as soon as possible. So yeah, that's basically what I know at the moment.
Oh, good. But in case, just let you know for the people, stay tuned on Grave social media, because when you have the possibility, I know that you will announce something if you can do in the future. So for now, the project is like on hold for future releases, but you have also concert in plan, or the things are restarting in your country, or something was like not at all starting, like starting now, the live concert and stuff like that.
Basically, right now here in Sweden, it's normal. You don't need any, like, to go to a show or restaurant. It's just like normal. You don't need any like certificate.
Okay.
Anything like that. So we can do shows, and but we have shows booked for the summer, and we will play. We will play some festivals like later on. We haven't done any gigs yet.
Okay.
But actually, last weekend we did a show, not with Grave, but it was me and Mika and Thomas from Grave, and we put together like a tribute to the old death metal bands, and we played a festival in Holland, and did just cover songs together with members from other bands attending at the festival. So we were doing, for example, we did Sepultura song called Inner Self with the singer from Cryptic Slaughter. so he came up, just did that one. We played. What else did we do? We played the Pull the Plug from Death. And we did a couple of cover songs, and every song had a different singer. So we just came home from that. We did it last weekend, and that was like super fun. But it wasn't a grave show. It was just like a tribute.
Just some tributes and celebration. How was
Exactly.
the attendance and the crowd in Holland? Just to close the topic.
I was a bit like, I was skeptical to see like the crowd's reaction. Would they like stand like watching and like, what the hell are they doing? But everybody, got into it really good, like right from the start. People were just, because we announced it like beforehand that we were doing a tribute set, and that this is what it is, and doing like more like a good times, having a party, and nothing serious really. So the crowd's reaction were awesome. I was surprised. It was really good. Lots of action in the crowd, and it was very nice.
Okay, perfect. So before starting with the second question, I will translate just a little bit what you say so we can go further on. Ok, praticamente abbiamo parlato della domanda del maestro riguardante la sostanza alcolica attraverso l'imbuto, quindi anche un gioco di un po' di vasi comunicanti. Dice che praticamente in Colombia ha assaggiato un cocktail che è fatto di tequila e birra, che non è adatto alla loro musica perché non è diretto, cioè diretto ma non è smielato, tra virgolette, come cosa. Ma in generale lui parla di Jack Daniels come un qualcosa che ovviamente, guardando sempre le band in pesi massimi, no? Cito io, no? Anche per esempio le Emmy, eccetera eccetera, questo Jack Daniels ovviamente cita questo alcolico perfetto che si può tramutare in qualcosa di nuovo per i Grave. Per quanto concerne però, anche collegandomi alla domanda di Maniac Death Metal, qui non c'è ancora niente in ballo di nuovo per la band, perché sono stati fermi prima e poi dopo, durante la pandemia, però hanno iniziato un po' a prendere i show, quindi avranno dei festival, e intanto hanno fatto un piccolo esperimento con uno show di tributo dove hanno suonato anche pezzi di Sepultura, eccetera eccetera, in Olanda, dove ogni pezzo c'era un cantante diverso. E quindi praticamente loro hanno fatto questo esperimento per fare una sorta di tributo, no? Di celebrazione comunque alla carriera, alle loro, diciamo, ai pesi massimi del genere. Non si aspettavano che potesse piacere questo tipo di spettacolo, perché ricordiamo, all'estero la questione dei tributi non è come in Italia, è un po' diversa, sono un po' più di nicchia questi tipi di spettacoli, quindi per loro è una cosa nuova, e quindi la gente si è divertita, e quindi loro hanno rotto il ghiaccio dopo 3 anni come live da questo, e poi ha detto continuano ad andare a prendere show, festival, perché in Svezia non c'è problema di restrizioni, quindi la situazione è tornando alla normalità. Anche loro stanno rischedulando un po' tutto, però non ci sono ancora dei presupposti per materiale nuovo, quindi che sia EP, album, demo, tutto quello che volete, dei Grave. Quindi mi raccomando, andate sulle pagine social dei Grave, che vedrete tutte le date, ma anche se ci sono novità potrete benissimo seguire le loro pagine, il loro sito web, eccetera eccetera. Detto ciò, maestro, lascio sempre a te la seconda domanda.
Perché se non ricordo male, Tobias è entrato nel 2010 nei Grave, però io voglio ritornare nel 1991 con Into the Grave, appunto titolo che appunto finisce con Grave, il nome appunto il moniker della band, dell'acto. Però io voglio capire, Tobias, prima di entrare in line-up, la prima volta che ha visto i Grave, come è riuscito a descrivere all'interno della sua mente? Come un libro impazzito? Come una macchina in corsa completamente folle fino a uscire fuori strada e schiantarsi al muro e morire? Oppure un soffio di vento, però di quello misto al tornado? Oppure una valanga di neve?
Ok,
E in condizioni
faccio
è
vedere
tornato
subito.
a casa dopo aver visto i Grave live?
Okay, Tobias, the next question is about basically your approach when you enter the lineup of Grave? Because we know that you are in the band like from in 2010, basically, your entrance in the lineup. But the maestro wants to know, in with a reference to the full length, the 1991 Into the Grave, your approach when you listen to them, how you was like hit when you listen for the first time the band, how is your approach, and how you approach also to the guys, to the lineup, and how was basically you in the band, because we know that you were in the like live member in this member and Tom Day was the it was natural to be engraved, or was something also funny, the guy, stuff like that, and if it was also an audition or stuff like that, if you can tell us about your beginning, if you of course not only as musician, also as a fan, friends of the band, stuff like that.
Well, when I was a young teenager, around early 90s, when I started to hear death metal, Grave was like a very early band for me that I got into, along with the other Swedish bands like Entomb, Dismember, Unleashed, and Grave. Those were my early influences and stuff that I adored. I really listened to it a lot. So I used to sit like in my boy room in my parents' house and just headbang to Grave, read the lyrics, and yeah, I was a big fan. I also saw Grave live in Stockholm in the 90s, with their first lineup, and so they had a huge impact on me. And then I joined Dismember later on, and we did quite a few tours together with Grave. The first one being a US tour. It was Dismember, Vital Remains, and Grave, and that's when I first met Ola and the other guys, and we got along really well. We shared a bus, and it was a blast. So and then we did another tour in Europe in 2006. It was called Masters of Death, and it was the classic Swedish bands put together in one tour: Dismember, Entombed, Unleashed, and Grave. So right, we did another tour and got along really well. And on my spare time, I used to hang out with Ronnie, who was the drummer, and also Ola. And it came about in 2009. They were gonna do a show in Mexico, and Frederick, who was the bass player at the time, he was already booked on some vacation, I think it was, so he couldn't do that. So Ola just asked me like, "Hey, can you do this as a stand-in live musician, just this one gig?" And so I learned the set of the songs we were going to play, and I did it, and I thought it would be just like a one-off thing. And then it happened one more time that same year. We did a festival in Finland, and then I followed them along down to Germany, and there they were playing Summer Breeze Festival. And then Frederick came out and did that show. So I was just hanging out, having a party, and I thought that was it. And later on, that was, I don't know how long time it was, maybe like 6 months, or I don't remember the time here, but things weren't working out with the bass player. So Ola just asked me, since I already had been doing 2 gigs with Grave, like I think they thought that I was the natural choice. At that time, also Dismember was on hold. We weren't doing anything in 2010, so it came like a very good opportunity for me. I was, wanted really bad to do gigs and tours again, because I haven't done that for a few months. So I said yes, like I would love to join your band. And then we did we did a couple of festivals, and then we did a tour in 2010 together with Misery Index. And then I was like a full-time member, you know, straight from there. And to play some of these songs, you know, that I grew up with, listening to as a kid, I can still go back to my 13, 14, 15-year-old me and remember how I felt when I listened to it. And it's cool to be on stage and playing it, and you have the grave like backdrop behind you, and you're part of the band, and that's an honor for me to be able to do that, and I'm very grateful to be able to do this on this level, and it's something that I always dreamt of. So it feels really, really good. It's not like every time I think about it, but you know, since we play a lot, usually now we haven't played a lot because of the pandemic, but sometimes that feeling comes back to me, like, you know, if I play a song like You'll Never See, you know, a song that was, you know, a favorite of mine when I was a kid, that's a cool feeling.
Great. And what is your favorite album, both as fan and both as player, composer? I don't know, in your opinion.
As a fan, it's the You'll Never See album from '92.
Okay.
That was the first one that I bought, and that album have a special sound. It has this very typical Sunlight studio sound from early '90s, especially from, you know, it's from '92, so it have a very particular sound. You can hear like this is from Sweden. It's very obvious when you hear it, and that one is very special to me. And as a composer, I think we did an album called Endless Procession of Souls, and I was very, you know, creative at that time. You know, we were doing a lot of writing together, the whole band. It has a lot of good songs that I like. So, and that album came out, when did it come out? In 2012, I think it came out, Endless Procession of Souls, and I like that one too. So yeah, those two are my picks.
Okay. Before going forward with a question from Gianluca here in the comments, I will translate what you say. Gianluca, gli apriamo il capitolo riguardante all'Italia, quindi non chiederemo solamente sì. Vabbè, però chiederemo anche questo. Ma praticamente, per farvela breve, Tobias è stato molto influenzato dai Grave, che tra l'altro l'immagine si è frizzata, ma lo sentiamo. Tobias è stato molto influenzato dai Grave, erano uno dei suoi gruppi di riferimento dell'adolescenza, però ha avuto contatto con i Grave quando era ancora con i Dismember, che ha fatto dei vari tour, tra cui quello americano, vari festival con loro, quindi a livello umano si era trovato molto.
Cosa mi hai detto? Ti hai nominato più?
Con i Dismember? E poi dopo lo diciamo, sì, dopo diciamo due cose. Praticamente sostanzialmente ha avuto occasione di poter fare da turnista varie volte, fino a che non gli è stato chiesto di entrare nel gruppo. Semplicemente io cerco di riassumervi comunque la traduzione, per comunque permettere di fare più domande possibili a Tobias. Infatti, ragazzi, è sempre il pulsantino per i sottotitoli, cerco sempre di tenere un discorso minimo.
Diciamo di refresharsi di nuovo.
Sì, mo ce lo diciamo. Praticamente provo anch'io. Sostanzialmente quello che è stato un processo naturale. Talvolta ci pensano da fan, guardando il backdrop dietro con il nome dei Grave, il fatto di essere parte comunque di una band storica che lui da 14enne, 15enne ha ascoltato. Però non gli fa tanto questo effetto, ogni tanto ci pensa ed è contento. E io gli ho chiesto pure qual è il tuo album preferito da fan e qual è il tuo album preferito da compositore, da musicista nei Grave. E lui ha citato uno dei miei album preferiti dei Grave, che è You Will Never See 1992, e poi, questo da fan, mentre da compositore Endless Procession of Soul 2012. Diciamo delle scelte particolari, certo, per la band assolutamente. Tobias, can you hear me? We see your image frozen. We ask if you can refresh back the page.
Yeah, I can do that.
Ok.
Second.
Ok, ragazzi, il bello della diretta, Tobias è con noi, si sta aggiustando un attimo.
Ragazzi,
aggiustando un attimo.
Leggiamo la domanda di Gianluca.
Tobias, meanwhile you adjust the camera, we will start to read an Italian question for you.
Yes.
From Gianluca, basically. Gianluca chiede delle esperienze passate in tour in Italia, 1994, e suonarono nel paese vicino Rieti. Per noi fu fantastico, ma per loro non furono contenti. Vediamo cosa ci dice Tobias. Intanto I see a black screen right now, Tobias, so
all right,
it's a problem if you refresh the link directly and you re-enter the page or not.
Yes,
so
I will do that.
Okay. Yeah, just to be 100% sure about the effective.
Ciao Robby.
Ciao Roberto, amici, sono i Grave oggi. Maestro, approfittiamo che li abbiamo nominati.
Allora, non sono stati ancora annunciati, ma ci saranno niente poco di meno che sul canale Fred SB, appunto i Dismember.
Perché avremo anche loro, ovviamente.
E poi c'è una tecnica che sta lavorando.
Sempre sulla Svezia. Poi abbiamo un'altra cosa sempre sulla Svezia. Sempre. Ok, Tobias. Ok, you hear us and you see us. Okay, perfect. Gianluca is asking you about you were not in the band at that time. But we want to make a general question about it, about Italy and touring in Italy from Grave. But he recalls a memory from 1994 with in Rieti with Grave. But of course you were not in the band, so I don't know if you did a tour with them in 1994. But we want to say if you have some experience in Italy touring with Grave or with your past bands. How was the crowd? How was the venues and stuff like that? We are really curious about knowing the opinion of a Swedish metalhead about the Italian scene.
Yeah, well, I've been to Italy many times. First time it was with Dismember already in 2005. That was the year that I started with the band, and we did a tour in Italy, and I was like immediately surprised by the enthusiasm and dedication from the people there. We did a tour like only in Italy, so we played a couple of towns. This is a long time ago. I don't remember exactly. I remember we played in Turin. That was very good. And well, Milano, of course, and well, I've been to Italy many times, and it always, struck me as the people there are very, very passionate about the music, very dedicated. And also one funny thing, when you play there, a lot of times the venues are placed like way out in nowhere, in the middle of nowhere, and you're wondering, how the hell are people gonna come to the show, or what the hell is this? But then people come driving with the cars, starting to have like a party outside in the parking lot, blasting music, drinking, and the show turned out to be amazing. And then people go back with the cars, and you're again left in the middle of nowhere. So that's a thing I remember when I play venues in Italy. Like sometimes they are in the cities, but a lot of times like it's on
a lot of times are just out of the city, basically, because Italians move a lot with cars. I don't know in Sweden how it's the situation, but it's like this. Also for the noise and stuff like that, be in the middle of nowhere, let people have a lot of fun and mix volumes at higher possible. Okay. Because Gianluca, of course, wanted to know a particular moment for 1994, but you were not in the band, so it's pointless to make you the question.
I don't know. I do remember Ola told me, I think in '94 they did a tour with Bolt Thrower. I'm not sure if this was the one or what it was. In
I don't
'94
know.
they were touring for the Solas album at that time. Um, I saw them I saw Grave in Sweden in '94. I remember.
And about the live situation, do you have some particular ritual warm up that you do before the show, or just you go and kill everybody? That's like this.
Well, usually before the show, I get it's some kind of nervousness, but it makes me, I want to have everything prepared. Uh, I want to know where I have all my stuff that I'm gonna use on stage. I also want to preferably sit down and warm up a little bit on the bass and to get the fingers going and everything. And like most of the times, like maybe 1 hour before we're supposed to go on stage, I like to get in the mood, trying to concentrate and but it's no particular thing that I have to do. um, uh, Nothing like that. It's just like sit around with the other guys in the band and have a laugh, prepare, uh, put on your stage clothes that you're going to wear on stage and get ready. So it's not like I need to burn a pentagram of blood or
Of
kill a
course not.
virgin or
But someone, for example, make I don't know, particular songs as warm up, particular scales, or I don't know, people only, for example, Anders from Inflames just do a shot of whiskey and he's good to go, something like that. But I think that it's normal to
usually,
get involved.
well, sometimes I would take a shot of vodka. Right, I
Okay.
don't like to. I'm never drunk on stage. Like I can't do that. I don't want to do that. Out of respect for myself and for the audience.
Yeah.
But sometimes, a shot of vodka to get your blood pumping a little bit.
I know, I know. Uh,
Yeah.
And just to close this, Maestro, I'll make a question directly in English
Eh,
and I will let you make the other
no,
one in Italian.
introduci prima. Introduci
Sì,
tu.
sì, no, gli dico la strumentazione. Can you tell us about your live rig? So we can close and we open and close the live section of these questions, basically. You have particular
Mhm.
stuff that you bring in tour for your sound, or basically amp cabinets, or you use digital? What is your live setup?
Well, but most of the time, or every time I get what they have on the venue, it's only if I play in Sweden that I can bring my own cabinet because it's too heavy to transport and too expensive to fly with. So but most of the most common bass rig is Ampeg. That's what they have like on many festivals, and most of the times those rigs are very powerful, very good, and like for example like a Ampeg SVT or anything like that. There's some couple different models of SVT. I don't have anything that I prefer, just as long as it's not broken, uh, and that I don't like rigs that distorts just when you turn up the volume, because then I will have like some double distortion, because I also use like a distortion pedal. I have right now I'm using a Dark Glass bass distortion pedal. Dark Glass is a company from Finland.
Yeah, we know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother,
So a lot of
which is
people.
my best player, as the pedal, the expression pedal, use only it direct to PA basically. But
Okay.
Dark Class is very well known company for for bass effects, really popular into that death metal,
Hmm.
modern death metal too. So I'm familiar in
Yes.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
use a
that's right.
particular effect, or just put the amp and you're good to go, or you have kind of something that particular that is like your signature sound?
Well, I do like distorted, but not like overly distorted, because then it takes all the bottom end away. So just little like a crunchy thing there. I recently also started to use a compressor pedal from EBS. EBS is a Swedish bass company, very good. I have an amplifier at home from EBS that I had since the Dismember days, and I have like, yeah, they hooked me up on this compressor pedal, so I'm using the distortion pedal. I also like to crank up the mid a little bit. I like a MIDI sound, because I think it can cut through all the guitars. You know, it's a lot of distortion when you play this death metal, and a lot of noise. So I want to, you know, be able to cut through the sound a little bit, because I do like when you can, you know, hear the bass and hear what the bass player is doing. It's not just like a low frequency that you can't really hear what's going on. So a little bit mid boost, slightly distorted sound. That's something that I like.
No, great to know. And okay, so this is we have finished the live question, the gears question, also some curiosity about Italy in this part of the interview. So before going forward, as always, people is asking to translate, and I will do as quick as possible, ok? Allora, praticamente abbiamo parlato chiedendoci, allacciandoci alla domanda di Gianluca, abbiamo parlato della sua esperienza in Italia. Noi abbiamo chiesto di questo tour che lui dice coi Rotting Christ pure, però perché comunque lui nella band Tobias è entrato nel 2010. Magari si può fare qualche domanda riguardante Dismember, però diciamo che oggi si sta qui con i Grave, insomma, la sua esperienza con i Grave ne abbiamo parlato nella prima parte dell'intervista. Quello che gli ha colpito dell'Italia non è stato solo l'entusiasmo e il calore, lui si è trovato sempre bene, quindi anche questo fatto che non furono contenti del tour magari si riferisce a qualche altro tour o qualcosa di organizzazione che magari non sappiamo, non vi so dire. In generale dice che dallo stesso Ola ha avuto degli aneddoti, ma non erano negativi sull'Italia, quindi non vi saprei dire di cosa c'è questo tuo ricordo a cosa si è riferito, quindi non ti sa rispondere. Vediamo magari se dopo può uscire qualcosa. E mi ha detto che lui trova molto strano il fatto che gli italiani si muovano per macchina e che i locali siano sperduti in mezzo al nulla. E io ho detto, guarda, probabilmente per il casino possibile. Lui dice, guarda, non me l'aspettavo, perché pensavo che non venisse nessuno, invece le venue erano piene di gente e poi pigliavano, facevano casino nel parcheggio e poi se ne andavano. Quindi lui c'ha questa memoria un po' particolare dell'Italia. Poi abbiamo chiesto riguardanti i rituali dal vivo, lui fa ovviamente il classico warm up, si mette, si chiude, si mette a suonare i pezzi, e ovviamente non brucia nessun pentagramma, non ammazza nessuna vergine, insomma. E ho detto, ovviamente lo sappiamo, cioè sappiamo che non è come, diciamo, si dice di solito, ma volevamo sapere anche qualcosa di rituale. Per esempio, ho fatto un esempio che il cantante degli In Flames prende giusto uno sciottino di vodka e poi inizia a cantare, lui invece fa il warm up, si piglia uno sciottino anche lui, giusto per avere quella botta, diciamo, per iniziare, e poi parte, insomma. Lui dice che però come rispetto sia per lui stesso, per la band, ma anche per le persone che pagano il biglietto, non andrà mai ubriaco on stage, perché comunque si mette nella, diciamo, anche nell'ottica che la gente paga per vedere i biglietti, che comunque deve dare un servizio.
Infatti non come
invece per quanto riguarda la situazione live, che io ho chiesto riguardante la strumentazione, lui utilizza le cose che vengono date a disposizione, quindi fittate. Solamente in Svezia usa il suo cabinet, la sua testata, maggiormente di Zampeg, poi abbina comunque con Dark Glass o con IBS, che è un compressore di un'azienda svedese. Lui dice che lui cerca avere sempre sui medi, insomma, avere un suono un po' crunchy sui medi, perché comunque non deve impastare troppo, perché poi si mischia con la distorsione delle chitarre. Quindi lui vuole un suono che sia bello cattivo, non troppo impastato, che però tagli e esca fuori dal mix, come ogni bassista death metal che si rispetti. No, ma come ogni bassista death metal, ma non solo che si rispetti, si deve far sentire, non si deve impastare, perché immaginate con le chitarre, con la doppia cassa che può anche non avere i trigger o può avere i trigger, insomma, tutto il suono, il basso deve andare. Sì, e quindi fa notare anche che lo spirito di adattamento che ha lui, perché nei festival trova sempre gli Ampeg, eccetera, ma anche il fatto che comunque, nonostante cambi strumentazioni di frequente, ha il suo suono. Quindi questa cosa è molto interessante. Maestro, vai con la prossima domanda.
Sì, stavo dicendo, se volete uno ubriaco che deve andare al concerto, non andate ai concerti di Abbat, perché sicuramente il biglietto se ne va a farsi
fa anche le rotolate per la collina.
Poi cadendo appunto dalle situazioni delle montagnette con uno
vabbè, ma lo vogliamo bene lo stesso, dai.
Sì, il piccolo grande tuffo Abbat, un abbraccio.
Lo vogliamo bene lo stesso.
Allora, sì, ma non quando beve. Allora, per quanto riguarda i Grave, io come situazione musicale li vedo molto molto bene all'interno di qualche pellicola, però qualche pellicola forse non definibile, non horror, non thriller, non saprei neanche io definire che tipo di pellicola. Forse,
ce lo facciamo dire da Tobias?
Aspetta, ma forse potrebbe esserci un giorno di portare i Grave all'interno di una macchina, una cinepresa, e allo stesso tempo potrebbe esserci un live all'interno di un teatro con alcune persone a viso coperto. In poche parole, bendati e quindi devono solo ascoltare. Anche con appunto la cinepresa, devono ascoltare il rumore, il suono.
Interessante. Ok, mo ce la facciamo questa domanda. Ok, Tobias, the maestro is asking basically two in one question. It's about mood. In his opinion, he want to ask you what is the perfect movie or the cinema basically that Grave can have his own soundtrack. So Grave can be the soundtrack of that movie. Of course, we do not want to talk as always about thriller, horror and stuff, but it would be great to have your opinion about a cinematic setting for Grave. And the other question is about also a particular concert for, in his opinion. He said, in his opinion, the emotion and feelings when he listens to Grave are like, will be great to play like in a theater, but people have to be blindfolded and only listen without seeing anything. Just to feel the power, just to feel the emotion, just to feel all the aggression of Grave. I agree with this setting, with this kind of environment. And what do you think about a death metal concert in the theater? We know that in Sweden, usually, for example, Candlemas back in the days did the concert in the theater in Sweden.
Oh, yeah.
We tried in Italy to make something, but it's not quite popular. And what is the correlation between theater, the environment of the theater, and heavy metal music in your country too?
Well, last year, I think it was around November, Candlemas played in Stockholm in a theater, and I was there, and it was fantastic. You know, when you came in, you sit down in a chair. It's a little bit weird because you're used to, you know, standing up, being like it's crowded, and you stand close to the people next to you. But here you were sitting down, everything was more calm. But I think the music of Candlemas can fit that kind of environment very well because the music is more slow and doomy, more like, you know, it's like church music, but in a metal way, almost. I don't think that Grave would fit in an environment like that. For me, death metal is more, it's like a physical outlet of aggression. And if I play and I see the audience moving, I can really, you know, feed off that kind of energy. And I don't really think that Grave would fit, you know, in that kind of environment. I remember many years ago, Entombed, they played with a ballet and had ballet dancers in Stockholm. That was also a very, very different thing. I wasn't there and I didn't see that show, but I think it went down really well. It was on, TV and everything, and so that was, popular. And but I prefer if we play to have the audience, up front. Sometimes if you play big festivals, there's like a fence, and the audience can be like 5 meters away from the stage. I prefer if it's a little bit up close, to have to get the more of a energy from the crowd.
You basically love the club environment, so we have the people stick in front of you. Basically, you love the
Yeah,
energy of the people.
that's you get more like a sweaty kind of energy. I do love to play on festivals on bigger stages, we like in 2000, when was that, 2019, we played in Wacken, for example, and that was super big, and I really liked that too. You get it's a different kind of thing, you can have a bigger stage and move around a little bit more, but I also do like the club energy that you feed off the crowd when they're up front. That's cool.
And what about the movie with the
Yeah,
great soundtrack? What kind of movie
yeah,
you
I
think
was
it's table
I
for?
one movie came to my mind. I have to say I'm not a movie expert. I movies are not something that I know a lot about, but I do remember a movie called Gummo or Gummo. It came out like early 2000s, something like that. It was a bizarre film from, kind of a white trash people in the States doing all kind of weird stuff. And the movie soundtrack uh, was a lot of death and black metal. Absu had a track on there, and Niflheim. And when you're watching that movie, I remember one part there was a fight. Two people were fighting in a kitchen, and then the death metal song came. I don't remember which band it was, and it, suited the whole weird feeling of that film. And when they were starting to fight, you hear this like crazy extreme metal music, and it was, fitting very well. So I think if we would do like be in a movie, it should be something a little bizarre, a weird movie would be preferred, I think.
Yeah, because a lot of people always said thriller, horror stuff, but nobody came out with a bizarre movie. So it would be great to figure out the great music in the movie.
Yeah,
I think that
that movie Gummo, I haven't seen that for many years, but it was such a weird film, people with weird faces, and it was really cool. I need to watch it again.
I have to check it out because now I don't remember watching it. But because my first, of course, experience with death metal and movies was back in the days with Ace Ventura, as you know.
Yeah,
So,
Adventura Cannibal
but
Corpse.
but it was bizarre as well,
The
So
Cannibal Corpse,
yeah,
yeah,
Adventura.
and Maestro, before going forward, if you, I will add, add something a little bit to Tobias, just to make a big translation and go forward.
Okay, like,
In your opinion, um, since the visual elements is a lot important nowadays, video clips, lyric videos, and stuff, what is your personal preference about a video clip? Because you like bizarre ways, or you like a straightforward video with the band playing and only that, basically, if there is a plot and stuff like that, or you prefer
yeah.
just play and record the video, basically?
I'm not a huge fan of the lyric videos, because if I watch a lyric video, I most likely just watch it one time and never go back to it. But if I see a video with a plot, and also maybe the band is playing and more stuff is happening, then you can go back to the video and say, well, this was a pretty interesting video. I want to see it again, and see if I can catch some more details, or some something that's going on that I missed. And but a lyric video for me is, well, You watch it one time. I'm not a huge fan of that. I remember in the 90s there was a lot of really cool death metal videos that came out. The Morbid Angel videos that they did for Covenant, brilliant. You know, one of the best music videos ever, I think. Like Rapture also had a bizarre feeling to it, with this guy, he was wrapped in some kind of net and rolling around. And then you had a God of Emptiness video with this weird looking guy turning into some angel demon. It was, you know, really, really cool videos. I also did like the Dreaming in Red video for Dismember, had a very nice feeling to it. And, you know, a lot of cool videos came out back then. But back then, you of course you had like TV shows like Headbangers Ball that were viewing. You could watch these videos all over the world and had a bigger audience. In one spectrum, like today, of course, everybody can see something on YouTube. So it's a totally different like world today, where the videos, well, it's cool. I really love YouTube. It's fantastic. You can go in and watch stuff that you haven't seen for many years. And back in the days, I used to record on VHS cassettes stuff on TV, and you know, doing like a mixed tape with different videos and some live clips that you catch, and that was a nice thing. But today it's of course like everything with the internet, everything is much easier. But yeah, I have another band called Darkened, and we're having planning right now to make a video together with a video producer, and we were talking just about this just like a week ago or something. We had a meeting, and we were discussing this thing that we also want to have a story in the video.
Of course, be sure that with also your other project to let us know and to stay in touch for also for Darkened, because we are very curious about it. Meanwhile, the Maestro, I will translate the next question. The Maestro asked me in the private chat to show you a painting, because it will be like something for the next question. So meanwhile, I will show you it and I will translate what you said. Ok. Allora ragazzi, a parte la morte di Marà che abbiamo messo in questo momento, traduco brevemente cosa ha detto Tobias. Allora, praticamente la questione è nata dalla perfetta, diciamo, colonna sonora per i Grave, la musica dei Grave, e lui dice che rispetto agli horror e ai thriller che di solito dicono gli altri, la sua idea è di fare qualcosa di bizzarro come il film Gumball che ha citato prima. Quindi un film bizzarro che sia un po' sopra le righe. E abbiamo scherzato col fatto che alla fine il primo approccio del death metal in un film bizzarro è stato con Ace Ventura, perché anche quello è bizzarro, no? A parte gli scherzi. Ovviamente questo film ha una soundtrack tutta death metal, è molto particolare, molto strano, dice lui. Infatti noi ce lo andiamo a guardare poi dopo. E praticamente non ha solo gruppi di death e black metal, tipo l'ho citato Yabsu per esempio, che fanno parte della colonna sonora di questo film, quindi sono molto diciamo attinenti con questa cosa. Per quanto concerne la questione del teatro, io ho citato la questione dell'essere comunque coperti e di sentire solo i suoni, e ho citato anche un episodio che ho visto dei Candlemas, e coincidenza vuole che Tobias era a quel concerto dei Candlemas in teatro. Lui dice, per quanto gli stuzzichi questa idea, sotto anche di questo esperimento con questa cosa incappucciata eccetera eccetera, la musica di Candlemas è perfetta per il teatro, ma lui ha bisogno di qualcosa di più movimentato. Lui vuole la gente proprio che gli dà energia proprio di fronte, e lui apprezza per esempio più i club che i festival, la gente è posta molto lontano rispetto alla transizione, sono molto più lontano rispetto a lui dove segue il concerto. Ovviamente lui ha fatto anche Wagen, Summer Breeze eccetera, però ovviamente lui
Morbidente l'ha nominato.
Sì, aspetta, quello è dopo, aspetta un attimo. Lui ha fatto questi festival dove appunto grandissimi, ma comunque a lui piace proprio il movimento, quindi parla proprio di sudore, di energia. Ha nominato queste cose perché io ho chiesto cosa ne pensi riguardante la situazione che comunque le band hanno bisogno di fare videoclip, che tipo di video ti piacciono? E lui non ama tanto i lyric video, preferisce dei video con una trama particolare, qualcosa di studiato, e ha citato questi video come quelli dei Morbid Angel, eccetera, eccetera. Covenant. E quindi come plot c'è una trama, c'è uno studio, una regia, e quindi a lui piace questa visione artistica dei videoclip. Tant'è vero che con la sua altra band, Dark End, che noi spero che inviteremo quando ci sarà il materiale nuovo, stanno proprio pianificando di far uscire qualcosa di simile. Quindi lui, sulla scia di gruppi come Morbid Angel, con quei video particolari elaborati, quindi con quell'occhio anche all'immagine, ha una preferenza particolare. I lyric video di solito lui dice li guardo una volta però non li guardo più, preferisce un qualcosa più sentito. Ok, Tobias, the maestro asked me to show you the, I don't know if you see it well, it's the assassination of Marat, so it's Louis David, Jacques-Louis David painting.
Ok, allora guardiamo bene,
because you want to connect the music and the painting in the same in the same question. I don't know if you can see the painting really well from the mobile phone. I try to zoom it. I hope to.
Yeah, it's very small for me since I'm using my mobile phone. It's like a
okay. I try to make. Okay, it's good for you with this. The image is good. It's big enough. You can see it.
Guardiamo bene questa immagine, guardiamo con molta attenzione questa immagine, appunto di un pittore che si chiama appunto Jacques-Louis David.
Sì, Jacques-Louis
David, scusate. Questa morte, appunto, questo quadro, come Marat assassinato, un dipinto, quindi assassino, quindi morte, quindi un qualcosa di particolare, non è la solita morte che vediamo oppure un dipinto su suicidio che vediamo tante volte. È una cosa veramente molto particolare, quasi come un'opera d'arte ma contorta. Cosa vuol dire? In poche parole potrebbe combaciarsi il dipinto con il teschio, quindi morte in due sfumature diverse. Quindi vorrei portare il Grave e vorrei portare Mr. Tobias all'interno di questo quadro e Tobias dovrebbe adagiarsi a posto in sostituzione dell'individuo appunto lì in decessione, quindi decesso. Come riuscirebbe a creare all'interno anche di un uditorio collegato a questo quadro delle linee di basso completamente fuori controllo, ma con un colore rosa.
Ok.
Ma un rosa
proviamo a spiegare tutto, sto imbaratando.
Che va a sfumare sul nero.
Ok. So, Tobias, the question is like a parallelism between the great music and this picture. Of course, it's a very famous painting by Jacques-Louis David that, of course, it's about death and the shades of death. In this case, this is something near the French Revolution and stuff like that. The maestro wants to know your vision. If you have, with your bass, you have, and with great music, if you have to create something like that, how will be your approach to communicate various shades of death and basically the idea of death with death metal music? Because we have a lot of paintings about suicide, about death, stuff like that. But it's particular because it's impressed in the history, basically. So how is your idea of creating music also via visual elements? And if you like the idea of creating something that will be not only listening, but also sing and be liked by watching it and enjoy it with the eyes and something like that. You think that Grave can do something like that and can achieve this kind of deep feeling into the music. And what is your idea about this?
Yeah, well, since I started listening to death metal, the album covers back then were always very spectacular, and a thing that also drew my attention. Also, the music, but also the art. When I was before I started play, when I was, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 years old, I was very interested in graffiti. I was
Okay.
painting a lot at home, and I always liked this kind of wild style, a lot of details. And I think that also, when you look at the early death metal album covers, had a lot of details, like for example, Altars of Madness, like an ever flowing stream. Those albums were very intricate, very, very nice, well done paintings. And well, that's a thing that stuck with a lot of death metal bands also these days, to have like really cool album covers. And that's something that I do enjoy. And on the latest couple of albums, we have been using Kostin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. His name is Kostin. And he's like a very talented artist. He's been doing a lot of work for many bands these days, and he also do a lot of details within his paintings, and that's kind of the art nowadays that I like, because I prefer like maybe from the Baroque era kind of art, who also like use like a lot of details, a lot of like colors and stuff, and that's kind of, you know, I like that kind of architecture as well, like the Baroque era a lot, where sometimes it's so much visually that it's difficult to grasp, is difficult to take in. And if I were a painter, I would love to be able to paint like that, because I'm very like it's really nice to watch, to look at these kind of paintings, and from especially the old, I'm really a fan of old type of artists, and yeah.
So basically, what you want to say that you art, that the cover art and the music have to be in parallel, right? I understood correctly. A good cover art, a good album in the same.
Yeah. Absolutely, because that's how I felt when I was a kid, and I, for example, were listening to the first album from this member, and I was sitting there looking at this artwork, and it drew me in the whole world, and it fitted very good with this kind of the new music I was listening to, and have an artwork that also reflects that kind of darkness, that kind of mystical feeling. That's a nice combination. It's good that vinyl have been, you know, coming back into fashion these days, because if you have an album on vinyl, you get, you know, a bigger picture to watch than if it's just a little screen on Spotify.
Yeah, of course. When you have it pre-printed and you got the vinyl in the hand, it's way different than, of course, in digital. And just to link to the question of the Maestro, it's a little bit artistic. If you have to exclude the black color, what is the best color to represent grave music? I think gray, but I don't want to be too simplistic.
If I exclude the black, that was a very good one, because in metal in general is a lot of black colors.
Black, of course. The black is the best color for heavy metal, no? The black.
Yeah. I think on the Into the Grave album cover, there's a little bit of green, greenish thing, and then on the second album, You'll Never See It, it have more like a red feeling. So green and red are colors that I like.
It's also great colors, I think, also for death metal. So it's like the energy, also the color that bring you some energy. The warm colors have something really cool if you compare it with the music. So it's good.
Yeah.
Again, we see your image again frozen, but your voice is good, so no problem. Don't worry. Since we have in the last question before translating, we will let you do like this, and we close the interview. No problem about it. Okay.
I just have to tell a funny story about colors. We were playing live, and we were opening up for a bigger band, and we weren't allowed to use all the lightning. So the lightning guy was asking, what color do you want to have on stage? And we can just choose one. We're like, what the fuck? Can't we have like a couple of colors at least? And like, no, you can just have one.
Only one color. And what color you choose?
We chose red.
Okay, so as the You'll Never See album. Okay.
Yeah, so the whole show was just one color, and it was just red. I mean, we were a support band, but it's weird that we weren't allowed to use, more lightnings than just one.
Usually the lights, if you have to share the light system, you have to do all the light together. You have not to bring half of the light system, So it's like a weird stuff, but it's like deep red, from Argento, the red color.
Yeah.
I can imagine the atmosphere of playing with that red light, the whole set. But I think that red, also for You'll Never See album, it's good color for Grave, I think.
It was a little bit cool, actually, because it was so dark and mystical with just red. But so it had a special vibe as well.
Okay, cool. So before the last question, I will translate a little bit what you said to the guys. Of course, no problem if you see Tobias frozen, we can still hear him. So since we have the last question, it's useless to refresh and stuff like that. So don't worry, be patient for like 5 minutes. Ok, praticamente ho detto ai ragazzi che è inutile che refresciamo la pagina con Tobias, siamo all'ultima domanda prima di tradurre, quindi è inutile, insomma, perdiamo solo tempo a fargliela, risettare. Avrà qualche problema di connessione. Ah, no, ecco di nuovo. Qualche problema, ecco, come tutte le dirette, c'è il bello della diretta.
Perfetto.
Allora, praticamente riguardo al fatto che hai detto tu sui colori, io l'ho spezzettata un po', in realtà. Lui dice che il colore rosso è gradito, non rosa, cioè tu hai parlato di rosa, mi pare. Il colore rosso è gradito. No, però dice più sul rosso, anche per il fatto che il rosso è anche sulla cover di You Will Never See, c'è la parte rossa sotto, se vi ricordate. E lui ha raccontato anche il fatto che quando erano di supporto una band molto grossa, il tizio delle luci ha detto voi potete usare un solo colore. Per loro è strano perché tu quando condividi il setup di luci non condividi una sola luce, condividi tutto il setup. Però loro hanno fatto tutto lo show nell'oscuro utilizzando solo il colore rosso, che ha fatto questa cosa un po' mistica, e io ho scherzato sul fatto di profondo rosso, e infatti dice è stato un po' creepy, un po' mistico questa cosa del rosso. Quindi per lui il colore rosso, se deve escludere il nero, è perfetto per descrivere la musica dei Grave. Riguardante la questione col dipinto, lui dice che non è tanto, lui è partito come una passione di graffiti, non ti sa costruire un dipinto graffiti. Non ti sa costruire un dipinto su quello di Giacomo di David, ma dice che quello che gli è piaciuto sempre del death metal è la copertina, e che per lui la copertina deve andare di pari passo con la musica, fondamentalmente. Lui parla degli album di quando era ragazzo, di come li ha vissuti, sfogliando i booklet, eccetera. Quindi la sua rappresentazione della morte deve essere comunque per i Grave, anche come le copertine che hanno fatto proprio per esempio con You'll Never See oppure con Into the Grave, avevano qualcosa comunque di misticheggiante, insomma. Quindi per lui la questione dell'arte e della musica vanno in parallelo. Non è un espertissimo di questo campo, però comunque hanno lavorato varie volte con artisti molto importanti per le loro cover, e loro hanno sempre dato tanto per questo aspetto, perché comunque l'aspetto visuale, anche prima quando parlavamo del video, che lui poi ha citato anche The Bangers Ball, quando parlo di videoclip eccetera eccetera, è importante per le band. Quindi la sua visione di morte è una visione che tra il rosso e il nero, che deve avere un po' di oscurità e un po' di misticismo, quindi come risposta alla domanda. Dimmi.
E se invece portiamo i Grave, poi chiediamo la bevanda, così
Che
ci
poi un po' c'è la
becchiamo tutti.
risposta alla bevanda in realtà,
Sì.
quindi...
Però vabbè, possiamo chiedere, è il piatto.
il piatto.
Quindi, allora, se invece poi chiudiamo appunto con la merenda, mi sto vedendo, vabbè, sto rincoglionendo.
La merenda del
Oggi sto
Calice Nero.
rincoglionendo, ragazzi, ma non preoccupatevi, non è che ho lo spizio proprio.
È ora di cena.
Allora, se portiamo i Grave invece all'interno dello spazio, quindi togliamo la natura, portiamo il nome Grave all'interno di un raggio di sole oppure all'interno di una luna luminosa che appunto guida il sentiero, oppure di una stella cadente che come cade crea rumore. Quali di questi tre fattori possono essere riconducibili alla forma artistica dei Grave pre-Tobias e pro-Tobias, nel senso prima di che venisse appunto Tobias all'interno dei Grave e adesso attualmente in line-up.
Okay, Tobias, last two questions for you. And the first one is more complicated because it's like the artistic side of Grave. You have to pick something, I don't know, a weird settings that can fit the album pre-Tobias and post-Tobias. Because the Maestro, when of course he listened about You'll Never See You, Into the Grave, or I don't know, the first demos, or the EP, the EP behind the promos, like for example Tremendous Pain and stuff like that, the singles, etc. It's like to basically split the period when you joined the band and when you were not in the band. It was like would be nice to basically put the headphones, close the eyes, and imagine Grave in like in the outer space or in a forest, stuff like that. If you had to choose a cool place, a weird place like that to be inspired and to inspire your music, if you have to pick a previous album or a new album with you in the lineup, what album you will pick and in what place you will put it?
Well, I know sometimes when me and the guitar player Mika are listening to the first album, Into the Grave, we always joke about that it's not made by humans, it's made by some kind of bizarre caveman people who can't talk, but they just scream, and when they scream it sounds like grave music, and they are always angry and just very furious, and some kind of primitive man, not even a human, is more like a caveman person. That's something that we sometimes joke about, that it's made out of these are the people that created the music, because it sounds so guttural and so like so primitive and so like furious, and so that's a thing that we actually have been talking about before, like some kind of prehistory, like before there were Homo sapiens on Earth, something like that, when life was very primitive.
Okay, and the latest album, if you have to choose a setting like that, for example, I can imagine, I don't know, the out of respect for the death, or endless procession of souls. In what kind of place or setting you will put those albums?
I think though the newer albums are not as primitive as the early albums. So I think it's more in our time, but
Okay.
maybe in some kind of battle. I don't know even what age you should place it. Like where there's like a battle between two. I'm thinking a little bit like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
When they
Middle
have
age. So
this kind of huge like epic battle, and it's just like oh.
okay, cool. And yeah, just to make you the last question, so you can leave and we translate. So just to not break the moment, you know. I just want to do a little introduction about the name of the podcast. It's called the Black Calice, il Calice Nero, which in Italian means something that is both ritualistic and esoteric, but also a kind of things that we do all together on the table, the dinner with the calice, the wine, and stuff like that. And we both joke about this, and we want to know, since we talk about the first question about the drink for grave, as we Italian, we want to know which is the perfect meal that can represent the grave, the perfect I don't know, a plate of something that you like, that you say, oh, this food represents my band. I know it's kind of weird. It's not a kind of weird, but we want to joke about this. Before the maestro, I said something spicy. I don't know, but you have to create a plate of grave, something that you eat at a restaurant. How it should be.
Well, we have this expression in Swedish, or no, it's in English, where you say like it's meat and potato, which means it's very basical, very, it's simple stuff. So probably something with grilled meat would be preferred, and a normal potato, not French fries. It's too fancy. So
Okay.
just like normal,
something really primitive,
yeah.
homemade dish.
And, you can skip the salad.
Okay.
So just meat and potato and some sauce, like a gravy sauce. That would be something good.
Okay, another idea for the merch would be the grave sauce. So on the meat. Of course, you are joking, huh? But would be
That
cool.
would be
Yeah,
awesome. Gravy.
yeah. We know Sweden only for death metal and IKEA, and usually at IKEA we eat something Swedish food. But of course, it's not like the traditional and local meal. But it's good representation of the raw, not raw, but the primitive way of cooking with the primitive way of the band of the sound. It's good combination. I think that would be Fitzgrave in the best way. Anyway, maestro, facciamo salutare Tobias e poi traduciamo. Ok, Tobias, thanks for your time. Grazie mille from both me and
di nuovo sul canale se possibile, perché questa volta ci faremo una bella chiacchierata tornando proprio agli albori, quindi sull'underground.
Okay. So the maestro said that it would be great to schedule in the future another episode when we make not an interview by Grave, but an interview by Tobias, from the roots to the last part, basically going up back and forth about your career, and also about your influence, your first steps in the music. And I hope you enjoyed the interview. And
it was nice. There was a lot of different questions. That was cool.
Okay, perfect. And of course, you are all the door of Il Calice Nero is always open also for your other project as Dark End, or if you have something popping up new, of course, eat us up, and we are really glad to have you back here. And we know that we have like a weird question, but we usually do that because we want to make something out of the box, so maybe and give to the people some interesting facts. I hope you enjoy it, and of course, if you come to Italy, we will will be supporting Grave, because we are both fans, and we hope that you will come soon in our country. And I think that's all. And thank you again for your time, because nowadays a person that give us his precious time is the most reliable gift that a person can make. So for us, it's a huge honor to have spent like 1 hour with us and talk about metal, talk about grave, and talk about all this kind of stuff that we love. Because without, of course, without you, basically, without fans, without anything, metal will not exist. So basically, we want to keep the flame alive, you know. And we hope that this kind of interview can stimulate people not to only meet by computer, but also make this in real life. Because nowadays we got 3 years stuck in this bullshit and computer and stuff, being segregated at home. But we want to use the virtual life in a positive way, and we hope that this kind of interaction can be useful to everybody. So for us, again, a new genre, and we had a lot of
ipnotica. Non sto scherzando, cioè nel senso ottimo, nel senso buonissimo. Ciao Giuseppe.
And okay, without further ado, we will let you, Tobias, leave the people of the fans, the supporter of Il Calice Nero. If you want to add something that you want to share, a message, something like that, we want to give you a free space. Quindi se vuoi aggiungere qualcosa, facciamo before the...
è stato veramente un onore immenso perché veramente
faglielo dire sto messaggio, maestro, però.
Non ho capito.
Faglielo dire il messaggio.
Okay, well, I want to thank you so much. This interview was really fun, and like I said, different kind of questions. It was very nice to hear, be able, you know, to think a little bit spontaneous stuff that I haven't been thinking so much about, maybe. So it was a very cool and different interview, and I really thank you for your support for the stuff that I've been doing. So I appreciate that a lot, and thank you for, you know, hooking me up on this interview, and it was a nice experience. So well, yeah, so check out the stuff that I'm doing, like it's Grave and Darken. I'm also a live musician for Necrophobic at the moment, so please check it out. And
we got also them some months ago on the show, so a huge big hug to Sebastian. So it was nice also his interview. And what else? If you have some links that you want us to put in the description on YouTube, you can send it to Alan, and we will put her in the description after, because the show is live but will be available anytime you share the same link to the people, so we'll stay online. So if you have something to add, a link, a project, just hit us up and we will place it in description.
Tanto verranno ripresi nel terzo numero.
Okay, perfect. So Tobias, again, we will leave you. I don't know the time zone in Sweden if it's different than Italy, but we will leave you with a nice evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and thank you again for being with us.
Thank you very much. Awesome.
Bye bye, and see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Ok, allora prima di andare avanti traduco. Allora, praticamente il piatto perfetto per i Grave è praticamente polpette e patate, perché è primordiale ed è bello diretto, qualcosa di grigliato, insomma, con un po' di salsa. Io ho fatto, ma fate la salsa dei Grave a questo punto, no? Perché non ci ha spiegato che tipo di salsa vuole. Poi per il resto, riguardante la questione della domanda, tu ci avevi chiesto che cosa prima del mangiare?
Io avevo scritto...
Perché tante informazioni, ragazzi, questa traduzione simultanea, il maestro prenderò un grado, che ne so, di madrelingua in inglese grazie al maestro con queste interviste.
Aspetta, non mi ricordo cos'è che avevo chiesto adesso mi sfugge cosa gli avevo chiesto.
No, che sai, tanta roba, poi siamo belli casati, no?
Mi sono perso che cosa gli avevo chiesto, lo so.
No, al perfetto, diciamo, la questione dello spazio, no? Il posto
della stella, della luna.
No, lui dice che praticamente più che spazio, più che cosa, cioè noi ci facciamo le domande e ci dimentichiamo. Vabbè, il bello della diretta pure per noi, dai. Lui guarda il periodo con lui più raffinato e dice scegliete voi il posto, però è una cosa più raffinata, più contenuta. Mentre quando si parla di You'll Never See o Into the Grave, You'll Never See, sì, no, che è venuto un attimo un lapsus, ho controllato un attimo. A questo punto, scusate, posso sbagliare anch'io. No, dice che lui si immagina, parla con il chitarrista e dice si immagina che gli album, mi fa ridere, gli album dei Grave siano stati fatti da dei uomini primitivi che non parlano, che urlano solo. Quindi fatte in caverna, quindi il posto perfetto è la caverna. La caverna non di Platone, però, quindi, la caverna è quella degli uomini primitivi, ecco. E quindi ovviamente ragazzi, nelle traduzioni simultanee cerchiamo sempre comunque di fare anche un mini riassunto, perché vogliamo far parlare l'ospite, non vogliamo parlare noi. Però fortunatamente potete seguire con i sottotitoli automatici, che sono anche abbastanza...
Vabbè, bene o male viene tradotto tutto, non è
Sì, bene o male tradotto tutto, però ecco, sono io che ci tengo a fare la roba precisa, può darsi, non lo so, però a me piace essere più... Ok, tanto è caduta la roba, cioè mi è caduta la roba addosso.
Questo è il problema, che ieri ci sono stati 2 ore e 10
con Paul no, vabbè, ma il problema non è tanto i 2 ore con i Cynic, il problema è la giornata di ieri lavorativa con i Cynic, poi la giornata di oggi lavorativa con i Grave, e forse ce la faremo a essere pimpanti. Ovviamente. Dici maestro, vai.
Diciamo che 17, 18, 19 siamo tranquilli, perché il 20 poi arriva appunto la puntata dalle 20 alle 21, dalle 20 alle 21,
speciale Brucia Records,
della Brucia Records, quindi uno speciale con una label bielorussa molto molto interessante.
Il gruppo belorusso o la label è belorussa?
Come, scusami?
Il gruppo è belorusso, la label è italiana,
allora,
no?
Il gruppo
Brucia Records è
bielorusso, adesso sì, la Brucia Records è Genova. Adesso vi dico...
Sì, dici il titolo.
Il nome, un attimino ragazzi, vi dico subito la band, un attimino. Bielorussia, che è un posto che non sta passando un bel momento. Allora, un attimino che sto cercando. Allora, fatemi vedere un attimino che facciamo una cosa.
Sì, intanto faccio questo breve annuncio mentre tu cerchi, maestro, per chi volesse fare una... Ecco qua, ecco. Mi ha anticipato, maestro, ma ti metto a schermo intero. Questo è l'album.
Come si chiamano?
Ti vedi un po' cascatti, maestro, quindi la connessione tua forse va un po'...
Vi faccio...
È un po' a scatti, maestro.
Sicuramente la connessione non è ottima, quindi faccio KRVVLA.
Ok.
Vabbè, ve lo scrivo in privato.
Sì, poi lo aggiungiamo in descrizione, ma ci sarà la puntata proprio dedicata alla Brucia, che insieme ad altre etichette che vedete qua sotto ogni tanto ci mandano qualcosa per farle recensire, e le ringraziamo per la fiducia, insomma. Come è successo anche per My Kingdom Music, faremo anche la seconda parte per My Kingdom Music, perché il maestro ha il vinile Death Cult, che io dovrei avere qua il flyer, diciamo, promozionale. Eccolo qua. Il maestro c'ha questo in vinile.
Sì, vi faccio vedere anche il vinile, così.
E poi abbiamo anche altro materiale, cioè abbiamo vario materiale, perché poi faremo pure le varie playlist killer, insomma ci divertiamo.
Allora,
e no, volevo dire che a parte annunceremo i Dismember come nuova diretta. Maestro, la posso dire l'altro artista oppure mi spari?
Se poi si sta... No, ancora non è annunciato, ancora non è...
No, mi pare che già è annunciato, quindi perciò lo voglio dire.
Scrivilo su WhatsApp.
Tipo ai cancelli, no?
I cancelli?
Ai cancelli.
I cancelli, ma apriamo anche il portone, ragazzi.
No, ai cancelli, forse hanno capito già. Vedi su WhatsApp, dai, abbiamo...
Ah, sì,
avremo anche i Hide the Gates, quindi avremo anche ai cancelli, capito? Era questa la battuta alla freddura delle 22:38, attenzione. Vabbè, avremo Adrian e Ransom dei Hide the Gates, e poi tanti ospiti, e poi non ci dimentichiamo una cosa, amici, che la mail è sempre a disposizione. Quindi abbiamo ovviamente, per ragioni lavorative di impegni, tutti dei calendari facciamo 2 mesi per 2 mesi, diciamo la verità. Quindi anche se non le annunciamo già, abbiamo le slot diciamo chiuse per questi 2 mesi, poi vediamo come fare. Però voi mandateci la roba e la mettiamo sempre o nelle playlist killer o le condividiamo,
Sì,
insomma,
in
ci
realtà ci
piace.
torneranno le band tipo i Matiniac, che è un gruppo americano, ci sarà. Poi ci saranno i Blood Electronica Electron, ci saranno anche gruppi tedeschi.
Poi recupereremo un'intervista che non potremo fare per ragioni sia lavorative che diciamo di fuso orario con Andrea Cantelli, che c'ha il canale come nostro ma dedicato al punk hardcore, che si chiama Cant HC. Quindi faremo anche delle introspezioni con canali simili al nostro, e poi recupereremo anche Venomic e altri, quindi abbiamo un bel po' di roba da fare. E poi voglio fare un piccolo diciamo annuncio diciamo personale, perché ci hanno confermato a me col mio gruppo il 21 a Frosinone, quindi per chi vuole venire all'Equinox Pub o Live Club, non mi ricordo se si chiama l'Equinox Live, comunque per chi vuole venire, ingresso libero, ci vediamo, pigliamo una cosa insieme, parliamo e magari, come sempre, come è successo anche quando sono andato per esempio a Lizard o altri posti, molti ci avete consigliato tanti gruppi che poi sono andati a finire nelle playlist killer, quindi è anche un invito diciamo a scambiarci opinioni musicali, ecco.
Ho pensato che devi sposare invece, quindi ci devi cercare il matrimonio, pensavo.
Ma che cosa? Chi si è sposato? Va passare stu
di sposarti.
No, l'annuncio dice quello, spero. No, ragazzi, ma che sposai? Sesso, droga e rock and roll.
Comunque
No?
saluto Alessio, Giuseppe. No, mi sono sposato, divorziato, mi risposo e di divorzio, così sono a posto.
Ma devi pagare gli alimenti, quindi stai attento, accordo matrimoniale, Alan, sennò ti mettono sotto i ponti. No, a parte le cagate,
di cazzate.
Sì, stiamo proprio sbarellando con le cirevella. No, però a parte gli scherzi, ringraziamo sempre tutti quanti voi per averci seguito in questi podcast. Seguiteci, mettete il like, condividete la campanella, tutto quello che volete, insomma. E mi raccomando, suggeriteci band come il caro Mattia Antonelli ha fatto su Facebook, che salutiamo, per le prossime puntate, ok? Quindi
sì. Perché come si chiama il gruppo?
Me ne hanno dati tipo 10, quindi tra i tanti, no?
È stato sul primo anormale, è stato sul primo numero di Artigianato a Faggine, che è normale. Quindi un bel progetto che avrà ripreso con un nuovo disco sotto una label giapponese, se non ricordo male. E comunque ragazzi, io vi dico solo una cosa.
A proposito, maestro, diciamolo, ragazzi, la ZIN è in revisione, quindi stiamo controllando la parte inglese.
Guardate quindi, ragazzi, mancano gli ultimi 2 pacchetti 10-10 di recensioni, quindi queste recensioni per chiudere. Quindi
e poi si fa la...
Sì,
ovviamente ci sono stati ritardi perché doveva esserci anche la versione in russo, che per ovvi motivi non ci sarà.
Quelle verranno accantonate per il momento per ovvie ragioni, e mi dispiace veramente per la scena russa, ma mi auguro che finisca tutto ciò perché io adoro la scena russa veramente. Ragazzi, cosa dire? La morte vi renderà liberi. Il sacro codice d'onore è 000.
Mi raccomando, il codice d'onore è 000, non è il codice della banca di Alan, quindi inutile che provate 000.
No, voi provate solo debiti.
Trovate 000 pure dentro la banca.
Guardate, il mio bancomat fa sempre così a me. Non è che devi digitare, mi fa sempre così.
Proprio sei schedato.
Sì, ormai. Sono schedato come questo teschio, come questo amore della mia vita, quindi uguale.
Il tuo fido compagno di merende. La merenda del Calice Nero, i soldini del Calice Nero facciamo. No, a parte gli scherzi. Codice d'onore 00, ragazzi, seguiteci per le prossime dirette. Mi raccomando, passate una buona serata e vi ringraziamo come sempre per passare le serate insieme a noi. Quindi
veramente grazie ragazzi, senza di voi non eravamo qua. Grazie.
Un abbraccio e rock and roll.